Ian Stanbury, episode number 1 of the Paddy and the Pomee podcast. Wherever I got
Aye,
that name.
the first of many, hopefully.
The first of many, hopefully, yeah.
How did that gobshite get on the television?
So, as we were just kind of saying off here, the two of us will just go with the flow. We'll talk shit. As usual with me and you, it's probably going to be boxing and MMA, but we have a lot of other interests. So, we'll like I said, go with the flow. I think this week it's going to be...
it's MMA and boxing, 100%.
The two of us have too much to talk about. But it's been a mad weekend, yeah. So, did you get to...
Where do we start?
Yeah,
Where do we start?
I don't even know. Well, did you got to see the UFC fights, yeah?
Yeah, I saw actually a few of the undercards. I actually watched O'Malley and a couple of the undercards, but
yeah,
he's so... I've never really watched... I see him on a few podcasts, but I've never really seen him fight. He's proper unorthodox, isn't he? He kicks from literally anything.
Yeah, his
like he really is.
And his movement is so unpredictable. It's so nice to watch. But the thing is, he's a very McGregor-esque fighter in the sense of you're either going to love him or you're going to hate him. You know?
Yeah, I quite like him. Like I said, I've watched him on podcasts. He doesn't seem a bad bloke. He's just talks a fuckload of shit, basically. Yeah,
that's exactly it. And you know, that's always the way. People are either going to like it or they're not going to like it. You know, but his only thing I think people have shit on him a little bit is after his last fight he lost. He took the loss pretty bad. You know, kind of. I don't want to say Wilder, not that bad, but kind of Wilder-esque. You know what I mean? Talking down the loss rather than just saying, "Listen, I lost. That was it." So
yeah, well. If he eclipsed Wilder on excuses, then God help him. That's what I would say.
He didn't eclipse him, that's for sure. I think it's hard to do that, but he just kind of, you know, just didn't take it very well. But at the same time, he's only fucking young. He's only 20, I think he's 24 or something. I mean, fucking hell.
Is that what he is? He is.
I'm pretty sure he's only young. I could have that wrong now, I hope not. But usually I'm pretty right with those things.
If he's that young, he is going to be good, isn't he? Like, if he's that young, he's got, another 10 years on him, at least?
Easy.
Hopefully.
I fucking hope. You know what? I better fucking Google that just in case. As people will be slating me.
Yeah, I do.
It's always the one you get wrong that people pick on you about, Ian, you know?
Aye. Give you time to cut it out if you are wrong.
Exactly. That's for fucking sure. But no, he was fighting Thomas Almeida is a tough dude. He took a fucking kick to the head and he pretty much smiled back at him, like, you know.
I saw it, honestly. Yeah, he was a tough fucker.
Sure, man. He's probably like fucking 35 now when I check. But no, where the fuck is he?
He doesn't look 24. He doesn't look 24.
Well, 26, so that's close enough.
That's close enough. That's not too bad. Still young, isn't it?
Still pretty fucking young considering the talent he has, like.
He's like a Max Holloway, isn't he? Like Holloway started like blooming 20, something like that in the UFC.
I feel like Holloway is about 40, like, and he's only. I don't even think he's 30 yet. It's fucking insane.
I think he's 28. I think he's 28, 29.
I feel like he's been around. I feel like he should be retiring, like, you know. And it looks like he's only getting better. That's the mad thing.
Yeah, no, he is. He is some. I still can't go over his last fight with your man. What's his name?
He fought Calvin Kattar.
That's it. And he is one. How he took that beating, I'll never know.
It's one of those, you know, when you're watching a fight, like, it's one of those things where you're watching it and you know, in the middle. Usually this happens afterwards, but in the middle of watching that fight, I was saying is that this, like, we're actually witnessing something that's going to be showed in 10 years' time. Greatness, exactly. Yeah. Like, you know, when you know you're in one of those moments and you're like, fuck, this is something special that he's doing here now. Now, in saying that, I was like, imagine if he got fucking knocked out after all this shit, but he didn't.
Yeah, I know. But you can, like, surely he's never going to reach that peak. Like, that is a once in a career performance.
But see, I had argued all along about the champ Alex Volkanovski in that division, and I'd always thought, I think I might have even said this to you before, that sometimes you can be a great fighter, but there's always that one person that'll beat you.
A style,
yeah, it's just a style. And I said that all along, and I also argued that I didn't think Max should get another shot at Volkanovski, because I think if you go 2-0, you don't deserve another shot. But if you do something special, like what Max Holloway fucking did and completely shut me up, when you do something special like that, then it's hard to argue that you get a third shot at Volkanovski, you know?
Yeah, but like, let's say if he loses again, is that going to just be detrimental to him even more? Or is it just kind of like, right, he's got my number, that's it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the latter. I think it's going to be he's got my number, that's it. I think it's hard. It will take a lot for people to look at Max Holloway and say he's done, or he's going to take him to go on a major slide when you see the things he can do to people like the guy that's challenging for the title now that was supposed to fight in the last fight card against Volkanovski, Ortega. Max Holloway beat the piss out of him, so much so that his corner pretty much threw in the towel, which is rare in MMA.
Yeah, so really, it's only Volkanovski and Holloway, really, isn't it? And then everybody else is below him.
In my opinion, I think everyone it's a great division. Like there's some great fighters there, but I still think that then you got Volkanovski and Holloway that are just a level above. But the way Holloway fought in that last fight, I actually wonder, has he just completely upped to the level now to even beyond Volkanovski? But we're not going to know that until they fight.
You've told me this before, that he doesn't spar, but I watched him on Joe Rogan, and he did everything over like Zoom, always training, or so. Like, how do you get that good from Zoom? It's fucking crazy.
Some people are saying that he kind of exaggerated that, but I don't know, because he stuck to that story and he said he wasn't sparring, and apparently he wasn't. Like, so
no, like he said, like, to be honest, he doesn't really leave his house because he's a bit fucking terrified of getting COVID.
Yeah,
and so he literally just trains by Zoom. Like, what a madman! Like, has he found some secret recipe for every fighter or something like? Because
I think it does show, because I know who it's. I think one of the first guys to start doing that. He was always way ahead of the time anyway. It was GSP. He was always doing weird kind of training, and people were always looking at him, see what's he doing next, so we can follow suit. And fighters lately have kind of started doing that, looking after their health and their. Because you think about it, Max Holloway is fighting he's in the UFC since he was very young. So I mean,
I think he was 19.
Yeah,
I think it was 19, 20.
Can you imagine sparring? What usually fighters would spar probably once, twice a week over a long career.
Yeah,
you know, that's a lot of blows to the head that you're not getting paid for as well, like, you know.
Yeah, definitely. But like you say, after a few years, I think if you can take a punch on that, you don't. It's just working on skill, isn't it?
That's it.
I think sparring is basically just to get accustomed to taking a hit as well as giving it. But once you know, you can.
It's for guys that are, you know, looking to get into the career, and it's literally like you said, it's about learning to take a punch, and at the same time, it's kind of that tool you want to have but never need, you know.
Yeah.
They don't really
going back to GSP. I heard an interview of his one of his trainers. Anyway, you'd know his name. Like, he's been on Joe. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah,
proper, really clever.
He's got whatever you call it, like a major or a degree in philosophy.
Is it? Well, look, he's very clever, and he said something like he never trains longer than 25 minutes cardio wise, because that's all he needs, is because he's in the octagon. But he does like in ridiculously intense 5-minute spurts for those 25 minutes.
Well, if you see him now, he's supposed to be retired, GSP, and every fucking day on his video, like he's living somewhere in Canada where it's cold as fuck. Every day he's out running in the snow. It looks like a guy that's training for a fight camp, but he's fucking retired. Every day he's training.
Scary. Like he literally, apart from like you say Khabib, I reckon he could just walk back in with anyone and beat them handily.
I think he's the game for the last few years. If you look at like great champions, it's the same in boxing, it's the same in any sport. If you look at great champions down through the years, and if you go back to like Matt Hughes, who was welterweight champion, go back to BJ Penn, all of those guys, the game has completely evolved past them. But GSP was so ahead of the game that it's only kind of, even now, he can still hold his own in the game. I don't, like, my honest opinion, if you get a fit GSP with the exact same skill he had when he was in his prime, I still think he's the best. I don't think the game has evolved past him yet. I think he was so ahead, which is insane, because it's evolved past all the guys he was fighting. You know, it's madness.
Yeah. Like, if John Jones didn't have the controversy he's had, you could probably put them level pegging, but GS, like, the nicest guy in the world, and and he's avenged all his losses, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's only ever had 2 losses, and he avenged both of them.
Yeah.
I find that, for me, I know people want to put the goal. Listen, I'm a GSP fan, so I'm super biased as it comes. But I think that's a big thing when I almost prefer a guy that has lost and avenged them losses rather than never lost.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I think there's
Yeah,
more to that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like Khabib, I don't know. What can you say? He's just too. I think he's just too big. Like he is huge for his weight, the weight category, like 155. I think he's just too big for his. Like he could go up to 170 quite handily, I reckon.
Khabib could, yeah. Like I was telling you this before. I think I was telling you, or I've definitely said it on the podcast. Like Khabib was out wrestling middleweights. Good middleweights.
Luke Rockhold, wasn't
Luke
it?
Rockhold, yeah. Luke Rockhold's not
Yeah.
like he's more of a striker, but he's not a bad grappler. And he said that when he wrestled Khabib, he said he didn't know what to do. He said he didn't understand how a guy who was supposed to be 155 was doing this to him. Couldn't figure it out. Couldn't understand why. It's insane.
Yeah, he's a freak of nature. Like he is. He's just a class fighter.
But it's cool how the game, like the game of MMA does that. It, like at one point, it was like when MMA kind of originally started, it was specialist versus specialist. So you had a guy who was jiu-jitsu fighting a fucking wrestler or striker or whatever. Then it's like you needed to be well-rounded to do well in MMA. But now it's like the specialists are coming back in again. Like you got your Adesanya, who's got a little bit of wrestling takedown or wrestling defense, but he's an outstanding striker. Then you got a Khabib, who's got a little bit of striking and outstanding
wrestling. Wrestling is
it's looking like to be a specialist is almost a better way to go, because all the champions are specialists pretty much, except maybe Volkanovski. And Ngannou is a striking specialist. You know, he's not a wrestler.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's like it. But if you look at the real dominant champions, like your Usman is a phenomenal wrestler. Khabib, phenomenal wrestler. You know.
I think Usman's a good boxer, actually.
He's got. That's the thing. He's got the other tools as well. But I think these, like if you look at Khabib against Gaethje in the last fight, Khabib's striking looked much better than I've ever seen it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
You know,
I watched Usman. He fought Burns last, wasn't he?
Gilbert Burns, yeah.
On his jab was class. He had a really, really good jab. Like it was almost like a boxer's jab. Like just a long, really good, powerful jab. I was really surprised by it.
That's what's cool about kind of, see, again, people will probably go mad when I say that he is a good striker too, but when he was starting to kind of assert his dominance, it was mostly wrestling. But I think with these guys then, because they're good wrestlers, they can take all the time to get better at their striking, which is really cool because you see it evolve slowly. And like you said, in that Burns fight, his jab looked like you wouldn't believe he was a wrestler, put it that way.
No, honestly, it was really, really good. I'm looking forward to him versus Masvidal. Yeah, it really was. It was like, you probably wouldn't know, like Sonny Liston. Like it was a bit. I'm not saying it was quite Sonny Liston's jab, but it sort of reminded me of it. Just a long, hard telegraph pole of an arm. But I'm looking forward to this fight in Masvidal. I think now Masvidal's got a training camp behind him. Like I still think Usman will win, but I think he'll cause him problems.
I think if someone had asked me who I'd like to see, it would have been that fight. Definitely, I think Masvidal, because he didn't really cause Usman major problems in the last fight, but he did not make it easy for him. And if you go back and look at the highlights have been shown all the time to where he has Masvidal on the cage and he's swinging punches and Masvidal is smiling at him, dodging everything, and he doesn't catch him once. And he's smiling directly at him, which is a different kind of that's a different kind of animal in the cage, which who's down for that kind of.
He's a beast. I love Masvidal. He's a class fighter. Like he's just like, for someone who's got like 13, 14 losses. Like that's one thing I like about MMA. Like you could have, like say, 20 losses and you can still be relevant. Like just one win can bring you back. Whereas boxing, one loss and you, like I say, like Joshua, I rate Fury higher than Joshua, definitely. But to not, I mean, he's come back a much. Even Dylan, you didn't watch Dylan White, did you?
Just like the clips of the knockout. That's all.
I thought he looked very sharp, very, very good. I think that loss probably did him the world of good, really. But like he got clipped with one, like a punch that knocked out a horse, and he got written off like completely, like saying he was. I don't think he's the best boxer by any long, but he is. He's a threat. He's as big a threat to a lot of them as anyone, really. Like,
I do think that's again, it's another thing you and I have discussed. I think that's a downfall of boxing is one loss shouldn't define your career, even two losses, because it's happened many times where fighters get a loss and all of a sudden that just feeds them that hunger and they'll come back a better fighter,
Yeah.
Which is,
well, like,
it's a shame to see that.
Carry on.
Because, it's just a shame because, like you're just saying there, he's had a loss and now probably looks like better than he did before he lost.
No, he did. I thought it was his best look. It was best performance I'd seen, like probably ever. I'd say he looked, even in his last fight with him, he was dominated him. He just got caught with a punch that would have knocked out a horse, as I said. Like but like Povetkin is what was he? Former world champion, gold medalist. Like he's fought most of the good. Like in the last 10 years, he's fought everybody. Like, and he was a crafty old fella, and his left hook is one of the best in the business. So, well, it was an uppercut really that caught him, but his left hook uppercut is, like I say, probably one of the best for the last 10 years in the heavyweights. So, like, he's not the first person to be put down by him, and he's probably won't be the last. But like I say, it was very, very good from White this weekend. I thought very, very good.
And how do you see? Yeah. How do you see the Fury and Joshua fight going? You're on the.
I think if it happened 6 months, even a year after Fury had beaten Wilder, I would have said 65% Fury, 35% Joshua. But it will be honestly coming up like 18 months to nearly 2 years. No, I told you it's meant to be in the summer, so let's say it'll be nearly 19 months since Fury fought. I don't know. Like Joshua looks a different fight. I don't think everyone says he's got a bad chin. I don't think he's got that bad a chin. I just don't think he recovers as well as Fury. Like I say, Fury went down by Wilder and nobody really would have gotten up by that. But he recovers so much quicker than anybody. There's nobody in the heavyweight division.
It's fair to say it's different styles too, isn't it? Like Joshua's a guy who fights away you get hit, you know what I mean? Whereas Fury doesn't. It's different.
I don't think he can fight like he did against Wilder, because Joshua can fight going backwards and his hands are so much quicker than Wilder. I think if he was to do that against Joshua, he would get clipped quite badly. I really do. I think he'd have to do what he did against Klitschko and just box and move and just be awkward as hell. Like, don't get me wrong.
Where is this fight? Where is this fight happening? Has it been? I know it's been announced, but have they said a venue?
I think it's Saudi Arabia. That's rumor. Like, there's about 8 places in the world, but I think it's going to be in Saudi, and hopefully there could be a few fans there. I reckon. But
that's chic money. Sorry, just give me 1 second.
Oh, mate, that oil money, like, it works wonders. But I just no. I think if I had to put my money on, if you gave me a tenner, I'd go for Fury, probably just about. But I think Joshua, I think people are underestimating him. I think he is he's good. There's no denying Joshua's a good fighter. Like his resume is so much better than every heavyweight in the division. Like no one even comes close. Like every fight he's fought has been like since his 15th fight has been against top 15 contenders.
Yeah.
Like since, and like, what was? I actually looked at the stat the other day. Wilder's 20th fight was against someone who was ranked 365th in the world, and Joshua fought Vladimir Klitschko, and it's actually madness, like how they slate him. But he's just like, how do you even like? I know Wilder came to the game very late, but Joshua was what, maybe 18, 18 when, and then he won the Olympics after what, like 3 years. So I don't know. Like I think they're under. I would go for Fury. I really would. But if he fights like he did against Klitschko, like bobbing and weaving, but I really think if he fought like he did against Wilder, he's in serious danger of getting clipped, because apart from maybe Andy Ruiz, Joshua's probably got the quickest hands in the heavyweight division. So
and I have heard, again, I haven't seen this for sure, but I've heard on podcasts I was listening to that there's a lot of kind of footage of Fury back partying and putting on weight and stuff like that.
oh, I don't believe that. I think he is training. I think he is training. Like, no one, you can't believe anything Fury says. Like, Fury's he is the master of mind game. Like, he's a McGregor in boxing. Like, he is.
You
But
wouldn't put it past him to deliberately put videos out there. To be fair,
no,
you know?
definitely not. No, like he's a big bloke anyway. He's never looked in good shape, but
Yeah.
But for somebody who looks so out of shape, he's got an end. Like, he gets to a 12th round, doesn't even look like could go another 12. He's got unbelievable shape.
And this is while moving like a fucking lightweight as well, moving around constantly.
That's what I mean. He is. Yeah, I would say, like I say, I think he will win it, but I think it'll be a very difficult fight.
It would be
It's
great.
got to be like
It would be great to see 12 rounds. It would be great to see
Yeah.
a battle of wits between them. I would love to see that, to get a real answer, you know.
I think there'll be a trilogy. I don't know why. I think there will be a trilogy. I think if Joshua wins the first one, let's say, I think Fury will win the last two.
But I'm sure there's probably rematch clauses anyway and shit like that, I'm sure.
No, there is. There's a 2-fight deal already signed, so there's going to be 2 anyway.
Okay.
But I think this is Joshua's best chance to win, is the first one. Anything after that, I think he loses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do.
Interesting. And you got to, I'm sure, I don't know, would it play a part anymore? I was going to say the heat of Saudi Arabia or fucking Saudi, wherever the fuck they go, will play a part. But then again, you never know really if the kind of arenas they built nowadays, they probably don't allow it to be too hot.
It's probably air conditioned. But Joshua fought in Saudi. That's where he fought Ruiz in the second fight. So
I mean, it's the fucking what did they call it?
The battle in the dunes, something like that.
Yeah. So
something
I should
like
remember that. I've noticed
Like,
Andy Ruiz is getting fucking in shape.
Mate, he does. He looks a different animal now. Like, he is. I think he is one of the biggest. I say Dillian White's a big threat. I think a fully fit Ruiz is maybe the biggest threat.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I think I don't think Fury's a good style for him, but I think for anybody else, he's a nightmare. He is. I think Fury would beat. He does. He looks very good. I think a fully fit Ruiz against a fully fit Joshua, that's a very tough. I don't know that. I think Joshua would literally have to do what he did in the second fight. Just run. Because you can't literally run, because you can't be going against him on the inside. Like, I think he's too good. Probably better than anybody.
Yeah.
Like, truthfully. Like, there's calls for him to fight Dillian White. They want Dillian White to fight him or Wilder next, and I would rather see him fight Wilder than. I think Ruiz would beat him quicker than Wilder. I truly do.
Yeah, but there's no, other than his fucking crazy complaints and excuses, there hasn't been much talk out of Wilder calling anybody out or anything like that.
No, apparently not at all. I don't know. He might not even box. I think he will box again. I think there's a lot. There is, because apparently he was paid like $5 million to step aside for Joshua Fury.
Yeah.
So there's obviously something hovering in the background. Like, he's waiting in the wings for a rematch or to fight Joshua, one or the other.
Yeah.
But
that's why I was asking, because after all the excuses and the complaints and all that, I was like, fuck, I wonder, has he just decided now that he's done? You know, he's going to hang it up. But at the same time, that makes sense what you're saying too, that step aside and stay quiet and we'll give you something soon is probably what he was told.
I know, like five. I think it was $5 to $10 million to step aside, and like, why wouldn't he? Like, but he's probably just said, "I'll do it," but I get the winner at the end. Like, I think they'll fight. He'll probably be back. He'll probably fight for a title, maybe end of next year, something like that, middle of next year.
Yeah.
Like, if they fight once this year, Joshua Fury, and then let's say springtime next year, like, he probably will be in contention for a title fight come the end of it. So, I mean, I wouldn't rule him out yet. But like I said, he's 35, 36 years old. Like, if he doesn't do it next year, I think he's done.
Yeah. because at the same time, staying quiet is not a good thing either. It's good in the sense of stop with your fucking excuses, but you don't want to completely stay out of the limelight either. You want to keep your head in there so you're staying relevant at some point, you know?
No. Oh, I did see, apparently he actually messaged Dillian White personally. So there is, I reckon we'll hear something about that in the next month or two. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
but that, if those two fight, it won't go past 4 rounds. Either one of them's getting knocked out within 4. I didn't even say 2 or 3.
Yeah.
It won't be going long. I think Wilder's either gonna catch him. Yeah, it's whoever lands the first big shot, basically.
This is kind of going off what we're talking about, but the guy I had on the podcast previously, James McSweeney, who's an MMA fighter and he's fighting bare knuckle. He's from London originally, I think. He's from England somewhere anyway, but I'm sure I'm okay in saying this, but he was almost close to signing a contract to fight Shannon the Cannon Briggs in bare knuckle.
Okay.
Fucking madness, like.
Good luck to him.
Listen, that's what I said. I when he said it to me, like, I just couldn't help but laugh. I was like, "You fucking madman!" It tells you the battle he has, like. But yeah, apparently it didn't go ahead. Something to do with money on Shannon Briggs' side. But I was like, imagine that guy bare knuckle. Now McSweeney is a fucking hardy dude, but I would have that reaction about Shannon the Cannon Briggs with anybody. Bare knuckle is fucking
Shannon the
insane.
Cannon. He's you know that he's got the most first round knockouts in heavyweight history, something like that. Shannon the Cannon Briggs.
I didn't know that actually. I would have thought someone else.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got the most first round knockouts of anybody. I'm pretty sure, or he's definitely the top 3 anyway.
Yeah,
like he's you never seen his fight with Lennox Lewis, have you? Shannon the Cannon.
I've done the lazy side of things where I've watched, a fucking montage of all his knockouts and stuff like that. I've never actually sat down and watched him fight.
He really troubled. Like the first couple of rounds, he really troubled. He was all over him in the first round, but I didn't realize he went into that fight with basically 2 broken hands. But he literally, his manager made him fight.
Fuck.
Yeah, 2 broken hands, and like he suffered badly with asthma and all that. So that's why
I did hear that.
He really suffered badly with asthma. So I mean that may be why he used to lock him out in the first round just to get it over and done with. Literally just get it over and done with. But yeah, like he went in there with 2. I'm not saying he would have beaten Lennox Lewis by any chance. He wouldn't have, but he was all over him the first round, or even the first 2-3 rounds. But he just was knackered after it. It's funny. Lennox Lewis said out of all the opponents he fought, he had the quickest hands and the best power he ever faced was Shannon Briggs.
Fuck. Do you know if what's happening? Is he under contract with boxing, or is he done? Or
no, mate. He just goes around following Klitschko, doesn't he? Really?
Fucking hell, yeah. That man is living rent free inside Klitschko's head.
He has been living there. Have you seen the videos of him stalking him?
Fucking love them. I love them.
Oh, mate.
Anytime I'm bored, when I'm bored, I check them out. It cracks me up.
Mate, it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. He's quality.
I became, again, you know me, I'm not the biggest boxing fan anyway, but fuck, I love Shannon Briggs. I'll always watch his videos. That's why I'm hoping, I would love to see him get back some form of fight. Even, I don't like to see guys doing bare knuckle because sometimes it's not a good sign of how their careers have gone, but I
don't know why, like he doesn't get on this with like the Mike Tyson, like in this thriller or whatever it is.
He did try, because Mike Tyson said that. He said that Shannon Briggs was one of the names on the list, but never said any more after that. So I don't know what's happened there. Whether it's I have a funny feeling he's going to pop up there somewhere. I would love to see that.
Yeah,
because then that's good money for hopefully less damage.
I think he'd be a threat to Tyson because he only quit fighting in 2018.
Yeah, and he does not look like he's out of shape.
No, not at all. But then again, Tyson is the same weight he was when he fought Trevor Burbick back in 1987 or whatever it was. So Tyson is not looking bad either.
They were close to setting up the deal with him and Holyfield again. Tyson and Holyfield. But I think money has come into play on Holyfield's side or something like that. Could still possibly get it done, but
Don't know if I even want to see that, because
I-
imagine if Holyfield beats him again.
yeah. And not only that,
Like,
I haven't heard but I've heard Holyfield may have a little bit of damage done there from his career.
yeah, like,
That's what I
yeah,
heard.
he's
Yes. I just
that's sti-
I enjoy this to an extent. I enjoy the, if you want to call it the celebrity boxing and the Tyson that coming back, but I don't want to see guys coming back that look like they may have a little bit of prolonged damage done. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, like Holyfield has slurred his words for a good few years, so yeah, I wouldn't even. And he fought up until he was like 48 or something like that. So yeah, I think he should stay out of the way, to be honest. But fair play to him.
It's just because some of these guys, they have that old-fashioned mentality as well. So even in the fight, if they don't get hurt, they could be fucking sparring and it could be one shot or something that, you know what I mean? They don't, like, they've done it for long enough. Get out of the way and let these other guys do it. Or if you want to do the celebrity thing, I don't know. There's other ways around it. You know what I mean?
There's no way that Tyson Holyfield's going to be a light spar, is it? It's going to be a brawl.
That's the thing. It can't be. I can't even imagine those two getting together for a discussion to say we'll take it easy. You know?
Nah.
What
We
that,
fucking biting ears,
kicking his fucking trying to kick him in the press conference. That sets us up nicely for the next fucking question, which I'm sure you know I was going to get at eventually. Ben Askren and Jake Paul.
I hope Ben Askren batters him. I really do.
It's so hard to like.
I like Ben Askren. I tell you what. Did you watch their press conference?
Again, highlights, but I saw all the main fucking shit talking parts.
Like Ben's he's a cool, calm fella, isn't he? Like he's quite smart, isn't he?
But this is my whole. Again, you watch Jake Paul fighting compared to the way Ben Askren boxes. Jake Paul is a better boxer by the look of it, but Ben Askren would not have stepped into this to expect a loss. He sees something that he can capitalize on, and he doesn't need money. Definitely not.
No. Like and he's training with I think he's training in the Mayweather gym and with Freddie Roach.
Yeah, I know he's with Freddie Roach anyway. Yeah.
I mean, that's it's not a bad man to have in your corner. Like,
can't hurt your chances anyway, you know.
Did you see? Do you know who set him up with that?
No.
Dana White.
Dana White set him up with Freddie Roach.
Dana White hit him up with Freddie Roach because like he's put that bet on, hasn't he? Like $1 million or something that Ben will beat him. So I think he wants to guarantee that $1 million return or whatever it's going to be.
Well, listen, if you have Dana White back in you fucking can't hurt either, like, you know.
Yeah, because they're not exactly mates, are they? Dana White and Ben Askren. They were not exactly.
The thing was, when he was with one championship, there was a lot of shit talk between the two, and Dana kind of saying, "Oh, listen, we've no interest in him." But they did have a press conference where Ben Askren said himself, he said, "Listen, that's all bullshit. Me and Dana get on fine." And he even jokingly got in for a picture with him at the press conference, you know. So I don't know, but it seems to be okay. Ben Askren is, again, like you said, he's a fucking super smart dude.
Yeah, he is. I hope he beats him, but if he doesn't, don't know, because when we spoke last, I actually thought Jake Paul was going to beat him purely because he looks. He's not a boxer, but he's training and sparring every day with professionals. Like he's going to pick up a little something. And like I say,
he doesn't
young. Look about. Yeah, he's young. He's only 23.
Young, athletic. You know, still has time to learn. He's not going to become a fucking pro boxer, you know what I mean? But he's still going to pick up things at that age.
Yeah. Like but I don't know. Like Ben, I think he will. He's fought in the UFC, and what was he in before?
He was in
Ben Askren.
He was in Bellator. He was in one championship, and obviously the UFC.
Right. So he's fought in 3 major fighting championships, and he's going up against a kid who beat a basketball player.
Well, that's the thing. He's not going to get knocked out by Jake Paul. Sorry, go on.
But like I said, Jake Paul's been sparring and training every day for like a year or so. So, like I say, he's obviously going to pick up something. But I don't know if it gets past 3 rounds. I think Ben Askren will win. Definitely.
Yeah, That would be my theory as well. I think Ben Askren is just going to have to. The other thing
Just
is, but how much of the refs going to allow? You know what I mean? Are they going to allow him to do his holding on and squeezing on him and stuff like? But listen, Ben, like I said, Ben Askren is smart. He has a plan going in there. I've started in the beginning. I was kind of like, fuck, anyone to represent MMA, I would have not picked Ben Askren. I would have even picked Dylan Dennis first, but I also wouldn't have thought Ben Askren would have said yes to it. I would have thought he was the only person who would have said, no way, I want nothing to do with that. I don't need it. That would have been my opinion.
Yeah. Well, but if he does lose, it doesn't look great, does it?
That's the thing. Why do you think I don't want him to lose? Because it doesn't look good for MMA. But the other side is, this is where Jake Paul has been a little stupid, in my opinion, is he should have waited a while, because if he beats Ben Askren, he's got to go a level up.
He's got to, yeah. But like I said, he can't go back down to basketball players and YouTubers. He's beaten a somewhat elite fighter.
Yeah. And he's going to have to, like, if he beats him, he's going to have to take on and what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of these MMA guys that are going to get hungry to beat him then. Going to be like, fuck, we got to shut this kid up. You know, and you're going to want to take that.
You see, Khabib's manager says he reckons Jake Paul beat McGregor.
Oh, no. Madness.
No.
Madness.
Yeah. I think McGregor would school him.
McGregor would piece, because like McGregor, that's what he's been doing the last few years, is boxing. That's actually partly why he lost to Poirier, because he's been boxing too much. McGregor will, not even McGregor, you go lower guys, like, I'm not going to name anybody, but here's one. Artem Lobov, who people joke, they call him the GOAT. It's a joke, because he's you've heard it. He's got such a shady record, but he's a scrapper, and I can tell you, he would beat the piss out of Jake Paul. He's not a good boxer, but he's just a rough, tough fucking Russian, Irish fucking cunt. No great technique whatsoever. But I would put. I don't have a lot of money, but I would put a lot of money on it if I had it. That's a fact.
Because he beat Malignaggi in bare knuckle, didn't he?
Yeah. But like horrendous technique, you know.
Yeah, he was. But Malignaggi is an ex-professional boxer, and he beat him. I thought Malignaggi would have beaten him quite handily, to be honest. But
you know, that's the thing. Again, I can't give you names of who exactly it's happened to, but there seems to be a lot of ex-boxers that are losing in bare knuckle. So there's something there that they're not gauging the same as boxing, whatever that is.
Well, it's probably just, I don't know.
But isn't it funny how that, because for me, I would expect boxers to clean up in bare knuckle, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, well, it's the no gloves, I take it, isn't it? It's just, I don't know, like in MMA, what are they, 4-ounce gloves in MMA?
It's 4 ounce in MMA, yeah.
What, in boxing, 10 ounce, something like that, or 8 ounce?
Is it 8 or 10? Something like that, yeah.
It's one or the other. Yeah, it's one or the other. I mean, it's a big difference. Like MMA, it's near enough a slight change, nothing more.
But even like if you look at Paige Van Zandt, who again, not an amazing striker anyway, but struggled massively against a virtual nobody, but a bare knuckle boxer. So I think it's the distance control and stuff like that seems to be a lot different.
Different sport as well. It's a completely different sport.
Yeah. But I think people are now starting to respect it a little more. They're kind of like, oh, it's not that easy to just walk in and.
No, it seems to be some big money. Like, didn't Paige Van Zandt, she earned a great bit of money from it, didn't she? Like apparently, several million.
Yeah, she has earned more. This is what she said. She earned more doing that than what she's ever earned in total in the UFC.
Fuck.
It's just madness.
That's a good bit of money. Like,
yeah,
she ain't a great fighter, is she? But I mean,
she's not like she has like a highlight reel knockout with a jump and switch kick. So she has the ability to do these things. But as soon as she gets up to the top tier, she's nowhere near good enough.
Yeah.
But marketable as fuck. Like, that's the thing, because she's obviously stunning and she's a model and all this shit. But you got to fight. Yeah. You got to be able to fight first. You know what I mean?
Well, Dana White knows what he's doing there. Is she even still in the UFC or anything?
No, she's gone.
Gone, is she?
Yeah, she's signed completely with bare knuckle now. After her last loss, she was asked. There was talk about bare knuckle anyway, even before she had that loss. And I remember one of the press had asked Dana afterwards in the press conference, you know, We hear that bare knuckle are interested in Paige Van Zandt and stuff like that. And Dana kind of just smiled and said, she probably is better off going there, which is a polite way of saying we're letting her go as soon as this press conference is over, you know.
But yeah, we need to talk about Ngannou.
Oh, it's the first. There's a lot of fighters in. I think I don't know if I say this to you or I say it to my brother, but there's a lot of fighters in MMA that are scary. I've always said the scariest guys I've ever seen stand in a ring or a cage, in my opinion, was Brock Lesnar and Mike Tyson. The scariest ever, just because of the way they look.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but it's Brock Lesnar, not the greatest fighter, but the length of his arms and for how big he moved for such a big guy in the cage, he looked like nobody belonged in there with him. So now I'll add Francis Ngannou. I'll add a patient Francis Ngannou to that list. It was fucking terrifying to see him standing there in front of Miocic, so much bigger but so patient. It was creepy. It's the only way I could put it.
He was different fighter altogether, wasn't he? From like the one that fought him before, like different altogether.
Totally different. It was insane. Just there's so much to be said about it, like, because even that simple little takedown he stuffed, there was so much in that quick sequence that showed you he was a different fighter. The way he stuffed the takedown and immediately turned to get Miocic's back, like you could almost hear that the place go quiet, like, oh shit, what is this, like, you know?
Well, I think once that happened, I think everyone knew, right, now he's starting to defend takedowns. It's literally a matter of time before he clips him with one.
Yeah. And it looked like he was going to get him out in that. If only for Miocic is so fucking hard-headed and stubborn. And like the shots I have seen him hit, because he was landing shots on the side of the head and on the ear, which usually fucks up someone's equilibrium. I've seen him do that to Junior Dos Santos and heaps of fighters where he hits them on the side of the head and it just spins their equilibrium. And Miocic just took it because that's the fucking kind of animal that he is. But yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's got to be him and John Jones next, isn't it? Surely.
I don't know.
Or Derek Lewis.
I don't know if they'll do Derek Lewis. I would like to see Derek Lewis, but they fought before and it went down as the worst fight.
The shittest fight ever. Yeah.
So now I think that's kind of one of those things that it happens once in a million times. But for that reason, I don't know. But I don't know about John Jones either, because it looks like there's a bit of a money dispute there. There was some talk, like Dana White was making comments in the press conference afterwards. Like he said, it sounded like he was trying to egg on John Jones. He said they had asked him, is John Jones next? And Dana made a joke saying, if I was John Jones, I'd now cut down to middleweight. You know, showing that, but then it's only when I thought about it afterwards, because then he also said, I'm looking into the camera. If you want to fight John Jones, call us. It's there for you if you want to fight. So it sounds like John Jones is holding out for money, which at the same time makes sense. I'd hold out for fucking money for John Jones too, you know. He's only
if I was stepping in with Ngannou, I'd want every penny. But
yeah, exactly.
I think we said this. If Jones got past the first round, I think he'd win.
What you'll see is because I heard a breakdown today. I was listening to one of a guy named Luke Thomas, and he made a good point. He said that if John Jones tries to take him down and he can't, then you're going to see like a super boring fight. You're going to see the two of them stand off, try and launch, because Ngannou's going to probably stay nice and patient. Jones is probably going to have to stay patient. But it'll be interesting. It will be, because Jones, you got to remember, he's moving up to heavyweight as well. So that happens sometimes where a fighter will move up and they look great and they're shredded and they look strong, but sometimes it makes them a little slower. And John Jones, in his last two fights at light heavyweight, has looked a little. He won the sluggish, yeah, but he just didn't look like John Jones. But he sets the bar so high anyway that people will comment on everything.
I think he looks almost bored at light heavyweight. Like
exactly.
He beat DC and he beat Gustus. He beat everybody. Like I think he was just bored.
That's what it seems like. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be. If that's not the case, if it's not that he's bored and he has slowed down a bit, you don't want to be checking those questions against someone like Ngannou, because
no.
Like if he beats you, he doesn't beat you and like, oh, we'll go back to the drawing board. He beats you and it damages your career entirely. You know what I mean?
But if he does beat Ngannou, he is like, without any controversy, without any special remedies, and like he's
I think people would nearly be willing to hand him the steroids and say, "Listen, take these before you get into that cage, and we'll support you."
may as well. Oh, like, and God, he is strong, isn't he? He is just strong as anything.
Well, you've heard what Dana White had said about his power, like that it's the exact same as a Ford Escort going at full power. That's exactly what his power matches up to. I mean,
fuck that.
You imagine taking that on the back of the fucking head, like. I mean, Christ above.
It's almost should be like illegal to let anyone go in there with him, really.
Should we just listen? Here's the belt. Leave. You win.
Yeah. It's like Nunes in the women. Like it's almost murder to put them in with her.
You're just looking at it, going, it's literally this person is just from a different planet. You saw Nunes' last fight, yeah.
Yeah, against the Australian girl, wasn't it?
Yeah, Megan Anderson. Yeah, fuck.
That's it.
It's just,
mate. She is a monster. Like, she is a scary, scary woman.
And the problem is, there really is nobody now. Like, people are talking about, me and you even discussed the Clarissa Shields thing, but Clarissa Shields is a million years behind, and Nunes is too, not old, but she can't wait around that long. You know what I mean?
I don't like I say, Clarissa Shields. Like, I don't want it. She's got to fight Savannah Marshall before she. I'd love to see her in MMA. I think Clarissa Shields. I think she might just move. Like, I don't know. I don't really know enough about her, to be honest. Like, she's 2-time gold medalist, but if she beats Savannah Marshall, I'll say fair play. Like, you probably are the best women boxer ever, potentially.
I watched her last fight. It's the only fight I've ever watched. Again, I don't know a lot about her. Only I've been watching her training in MMA. Her last fight, she didn't look amazing, but at the same time, didn't get troubled by anything either.
At all.
She did, like, maybe I have a feeling she's probably one of these women who, when she gets in trouble, is when you see her turn it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A wounded animal sort of thing.
Yeah, it didn't show me a whole lot in that fight, but again, her fucking resume speaks for itself, and she seems to be picking up MMA pretty quick.
Well enough.
Yeah. You look at her kicks. Her kicks look okay, because when I first saw her kicking, I was like, this is not good. It just didn't look good. It was coming. There was no torque in her kicks. But then you see her a few weeks later, and it's like, what the fuck? This is totally different.
Yeah. She seems like she would pick it up well enough. But, I mean, to put her in against someone, is she like same weight as Nunes? I don't even know what like, they must be similar enough.
I think it is similar enough. Yeah. In fairness, with the women, because you have dominant champions, like you have Shevchenko in the fucking flyweight, I think. Then you have Nunes is bantamweight and featherweight, I believe. I always mix them up, but it's something like that anyway. But the good thing about the women is they kind of can jump, because the dominant champion there is 2 dominant champions, but
yeah,
you can still bounce between the 2 weight classes to see which one suits better. But at the same time, Shevchenko and Nunes are your champions there, which are fucking both animals. You know what I mean?
Have they fought together? Or?
Yeah, both. Shevchenko was probably given Nunes her best tests, but still didn't beat her.
Well. Has she lost Nunes?
She has. She lost to a lady named Kat Zingano a few years back. But Nunes was not the same. She had a clear hole in her game, which was her cardio. But not anymore. Not anymore.
No. Not that she even needs it anymore.
But that's it. Like, and it was insane, because you always hear, I don't know, was it Joe Rogan used to always say, he said it like that, when women get hit by Nunes, you see that look in their eyes. And I saw it perfectly in that last fight. When she hit Megan Anderson early, you saw straight away that she was almost like, what the fuck just hit me? Because she did a takedown. She attempted a takedown, and it was a horrendous technique. Her legs were out real wide, so you know well that her brain wasn't even able to process properly what she was supposed to do, which is scary, like, to think. So I don't know what you do with Nunes next, really. It's fight men, maybe. I don't know, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't even bet against her in that.
She's looking flawless.
There's a couple fellas she could probably easily beat, I'd say, wouldn't she?
There's a big list of them there. You'd have to take her seriously anyway, put it this way.
Yeah, definitely. definitely.
There's a lady
And she
called.
would.
Sorry, what?
No, go on, carry on.
Oh, there's her next possible challenger. I don't know, but is Penny. Fuck, I always forget her name. It's Jessica Pena. I think it's Jessica. It's Pena, anyways. Her name. She's a good fighter, but she's the only one kind of on the list that Nunes hasn't fought. And to be fair to her, she's making a big claim to get that fight, but she's not going to beat her. Like, in the last while, I actually think Nunes has beaten better fighters than this girl. But the only thing, what Nunes almost has to do now is fight fighters that just give that little question mark, the tiniest, because you haven't seen the fight. That's the only reason. That's the only thing. Like even this Megan Anderson, like in my head, I figured Nunes is going to win, but I was like, Anderson is real tall, so maybe she gets lucky. That's the only thing that comes. It's always a maybe she gets lucky.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, I had said this on the podcast after her last win, that I think what needs to happen is either Nunes retires or she's just going to fight until she has that day. That one day where nothing is going right for her, where all the stars are out of line. She comes in and slips and damages her ankle walking into the cage and gets poked in the eye and everything just goes wrong, and then she eventually loses. It has to be like the worst day in hell for her, where all the luck is in the other person's, and then at the same time, maybe that won't work either.
Yeah, she would have to be at least. It would have to be the other person's best day ever and her worst day, pretty much.
That's the only thing I see. I don't see anyone there. I rarely say that because my predictions are horrendous. They seem to always go against me, so I've stopped predicting things. But with Nunes, it's fucking hard to see anybody at all. She just doesn't look, and she's never phased. And I did question, because another thing you always hear fighters saying and coaches saying that when they have kids, sometimes it can light a fire under them to where now they have something to fight for. Or I was looking at the videos in the build-up watching Nunes, and I was wondering if maybe having a kid has made her more mellow and calmed her and out, but it looks like the opposite. It looks like it's lit the fire. So if now people are looking at Nunes having had a fire lit under her, what the fuck are they going to do? Now she's at a new level. It's like, come on, like forget about it.
What? Yeah, nah, it's unfair near enough. Like she is, like the person to beat Nunes probably hasn't been born yet.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
and that's the thing, and that was the thing. It was happening. What Joe Rogan always says with dominant champions like that is what it does is it sets the bar high for newcoming fighters. So you're waiting for that someone to come in and, this someone who was maybe watching Nunes for years and studied her and copied her game and stuff like that. But I mean, copy it all you want and then step in there with her. Because by the looks of things, people get hit by her and they just don't know what has hit them. So I don't know.
It's mad. She doesn't look like the most powerful, does she? Like she looks like she's, but like just some people just carry it. It's like you look at someone like Wilder, for example. He's just he's a stick insect, but he hits like a truck.
Yeah.
Like it's just I don't get with it. Like him especially, he is just weird. His power.
Yeah.
Like for 15 stone, like he gives away like normally like 3 stone to most opponents, and he's more a cruiserweight than anything, and he hits like he's probably like in the top 3 punches of all time in boxing, probably top 5 anyway.
On the planet, probably in there with the biggest, because like that for me, the Ortiz knockout where he hit him on the side, on the fucking forehead.
On the forehead,
they say is the area you want to be hit, and knock them out. I mean, in order to hit someone here and knock them out means you have literally rattled their brain from the forehead, which is fucking sickening power.
But that was one of his knockouts where he wasn't swinging wild. It actually looked like just a clean punch.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It didn't even look like he put 70% effort into it, and he did that.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Some people are born with. Like you can't train that. Like, the thing about Nunes, which it's not an argument I always have, but I said this to my brother when she was fighting Cyborg. She doesn't look. She's a lot more accurate than she looks because she swings with real power. But Nunes' accuracy is what does it for her. She's insanely accurate. It doesn't look it because she has this kind of wild from the hip swing sometimes, but she's super accurate and compared to. So the power is there. She has great power, but she's crazy accurate. Like for the way she swings, she doesn't diminish her accuracy whatsoever. Whereas you might see with like your Wilders, your Ngannous, something like that, when they're swinging,
Yeah.
they'll miss
It's
three.
hope. It's hope
Yeah.
for the best kind of thing, isn't it?
But then it's like all they have to do is glance. It's because all they have to do is glance off your head and you're going to sleep. Which, you know.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll
Sweet
speak to you
as.
soon.
Listen, take
Let
it
you know.
easy and enjoy the weather and all that.
Yeah,
And
mate.
I'll stay in touch, all right?
Yeah, mate. No worries. Speak to you in a day or so.
All right, man. Take it easy.